If your heart isn't too strong, ensure you don't watch these videos alone, as your fear rate will increase. Take a look at this young man taking a dump who encountered eerie sounds. Or this lady noticing human faces on inanimate objects. In this video, we will look at 15 insanely scary internet videos that will fuel your fear. Let's dive in. 15. Imagine being alone in a room, playing a melodious song, only to notice you weren't alone after all. I mean, a being loved your music and came to join you. Take a look. This young man is indeed braver than most. I, for one, would have exited the moment I heard that, but the young man indeed stuck to his gun. We guess upon the second occurrence of the event, it dawned on him it was not ordinary, and he ought to leave immediately. Next, number 14. Hitting the gym is a good way to stay fit. However, what happens when you are all alone in a gym center and be hearing noise from a nearby room? Instinct will advise you to run, but this brave man went on to explore. Take a look. So it means that the melodious song we all heard was being played by unseen being. It will be very difficult living in an environment such as this. In order to confirm his suspicion, the young man found out he was indeed all along. It's best to quit the premises then. 13. After having a face-off with a stronger bully, wouldn't you retreat away from the bully? Such was the experience of Mark, who after a strange encounter, took shelter under his bed. No, don't laugh him. Take a look. Thankfully, man's best friend was just around to reduce his anxiety and fear. Perhaps, if the dog weren't around, who knows what might have happened further. After cowering for a while, Mark stood up to confront the intruder. However, he saw no one, except that the intruder showed its presence by messing around with objects. Number 12. Abandoned properties aren't the best of places to go for vacation. I mean, there is a reason it was abandoned in the first place, and going there, one might encounter unpleasant beings. Take a look. Once the meter indicated an unusual frequency, the visitors knew immediately they were not alone.
So I almost felt like glass when I crossed my shoulder.
And as a proof that indeed they weren't alone, the injury of bodily harm on his body was alarming. They should leave the premises as soon as possible. 11. Having a nanny camera in a child's room is always a good idea. However, when no nanny was around, yet a being is observed, then it is best to be very cautious. Take a look. The young man, being all alone in the house, noticed a disturbing occurrence, and when to find out if he was correct or incorrect. Well, after setting up his camera, he found out that indeed an unknown intruder was there all along. It might be best to leave the house at this point. 10. Staying up alone in a room and noticing some weird patterns is a rare occurrence. I mean, how can you comfortably sleep in such a room, knowing that something is lurking around? Take a look. That is definitely the face of something, right? I mean, what other possible explanation could that be? Tell us in the comments section. As a strong lady, she activated her inner Sherlock Holmes in a bid to find an answer to the anomaly, but found nothing. What is going on? You have any explanation for the occurrence? Leave us an answer in the comments. Nine. When a plane is descending, it is common for air hostesses to warn passengers not to leave their seats. Of course, safety is the reason for this. However, watch what happened here. Why exactly would prompt a passenger to do a thing like this? I mean, even if he doesn't care for his own safety, what of the safety of other passengers? He should be charged to court. So this passenger has been fined through hours of flight, but few minutes for the plane to land. He lost his patience. This is very scary scene. 8. Cars, no matter how strong they are no match for trains. which is why once a car driver comes across an intersection, it is best to distance one.
Jong, wacht er weer, jong. Dat ding, man. Uit. Kom door. Kom dan. Jong. Rijd door, achterlijk naar de trein. Nee, klaar. Ja. Ah, man.
As it can turn to a sad scene pretty fast. Take a look. The young man tried warning the lady so that she can quickly run to safety, but perhaps she didn't see the need for such an endeavor. And just in a couple of seconds, the most dreadful day of the woman's life unfolded. Gosh, that was a terrible scene. I can't even imagine the terrible pain she must be going through right now. 7. Truck drivers deserve awards. We know how risky the whole driving thing can end if a driver isn't careful enough. Take a look at this video. Unfortunately for the truck driver, he forgot to lock his cabin, and in a residential highway, this proves to be a very costly mistake. Well, luckily for the driver, he was able to jump off just in time before the truck crashed into the neighboring wall. Thankfully, no life was lost, but that was a very close shave that could have turned out pretty bad. 6. When in court premises and a defendant is surrounded like this, then something must be wrong. I mean, who can nearly 5 officers be around a defendant whose charges are over 10? Take a look at this video. With those charges read aloud, we can all agree that a man of this nature should never be left alone in a public place, else he might attempt doing the impossible.
In accordance with the laws of the state of Nevada, this court...
In case you are still wondering, this footage showed the man in action when he attacked a judge in January 2024. With his verdict, I am sure he won't try to assault public officers anymore. 5. Imagine being in a train in an overflooded area. That is a very scary scene, as all through the journey, your mind will be racing if the floods destroys the rail tracks or bridges. Take a look at this video. That was indeed a disturbing video shown in an almost 3D manner. I can't begin to imagine the thoughts that was going on in the hearts of the passengers. Luckily, no one was hurt, but I am sure that is a scene nobody in the train would love to experience again. 4. Have you ever witnessed an ongoing war? I bet not. However, one thing we can take from war veterans is that it is an ugly sight no one should ever be in. Take a look, and just while granting the interview, this officer had missiles in his direction. It was rather brave of him not to cower or hide for safety like his colleagues. War is a terrible thing and should be avoided at all cost. Thankfully, the officers were unharmed by the incoming missiles launched in their direction. 3. Imagine you were having dinner with family when suddenly an uninvited guest intrudes. Shocking, right? Well, that was the fate of this poor family. Take a look at this video. And in that instant, everyone tried to run to safety. But however, the poor animal had inflicted a huge damage. Luckily, no one sustained major injury, but that must have been really traumatic for the family. 2. It is always a beautiful feeling to visit nature and bask in its beauty. However, this young man had a funny but scary encounter that shook him. Take a look. However, his excitement would easily go off the moment he discovered it was not a harmless octopus as he thought. What seemed to be a lovey-dovey moment quickly escalated as the young man was stung by the jellyfish he thought was an octopus. Thankfully, it was handled before it caused any major injury. 1. It is a common sight for family members to lit fireworks for celebrations, and so was the intention of this family, but it took an unexpected turn. Take a look. And as soon as the damage started, the motherly instinct sought and did protect her kid from the carnage that happened few seconds later. And in a few seconds, what started as a fun moment was changed forever. Thankfully, no one sustained injury. Please tell us your favorite in the comments section, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button.